I guess I'm straight because the world tells me that if I'm attracted to this type of person, then I'm good old heterosexual. But yeah, it's that you can't be what you can't see thing comes up too of like, and I think that's why I relate so much to like different conceptions of gender and sexuality and fluidity.
Hey, welcome to Meet Me at the Spot, where pleasure meets education. This is the space where we get real about sex, relationships, and everything in between. I'm your host, Holly Eckelberger, and I'm a longtime sexual health educator, activist, and content creator. I will be your guide through conversations that blend curiosity, pleasure, and truth. Together with some amazing guests, we'll break down stigma, celebrate bodies, and learn how to embrace sexual health with confidence and joy. So get comfy because it's time for the show to get started. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Meet Me at the Spot, where pleasure meets education. I'm your host, Holly, and this week I am really so excited to share my conversation with the one and only Krista. Krista White, who uses she, her pronouns, is a multi-genre writer and the founder of Kiki for the Future, a sex ed app and website that curates free sex ed resources for the LGBTQIA+ community. All of her work centers around pleasure, liberation, and joy. Make sure you go and download Kiki for the Future onto your phone right now, and let's jump into my conversation with Krista. Welcome, Krista, to the podcast. I'm really excited to have you here.
Thank you so much, Holly. I'm excited to be here.
All right. So the first question I always ask my guests is, what got you started in the work that you do?
So I started my interest in sex ed, queer sex ed specifically around when I came out in my mid-20s, but particularly when I got into my first like queer relationship was about the time when I had an abnormal pap smear. And a lot of people don't know, like, until it happens, like, what does that mean? What does that mean for my sex life? Like, for me, I had a benign, one of the strains that doesn't cause cancer of HPV, but without any information about what that meant for me, for protecting myself, for protecting my partner, going forward, it was kind of like a sense of panic. So that kind of sparked an interest in specifically like sapphic sexual health and what barrier methods were available for, queer people, queer AFAB people, lesbians. And I learned that not a lot. Not a lot. I mean, the dental dam is the most accessible, and that's, not that accessible. You can't get one at CVS, really. You can only get them in sex shops, and there's starting to be some more options, but there's not a lot of options. There's not a lot of education for, as they call it, Willowa, sapphic sex. So, ladolabine, whatever you want to call it. So that kind of spurred my interest in it. It was my own like panic spiral, and then being talked down by my friends and my doctor. But I literally like had asked a doctor, like a OB/GYN, like, okay, I know that like the site of infection for this is the cervix, but can I transmit HPV by giving oral sex or other types of sex? And she said, we don't really know. So it's like, cool. So that like sort of, even like there's just not research in some of these areas, and HPV is like the most common STI, I think, that a lot of people will get and often will not even know it. So that's a long-winded story of how I got into this like queer sex ed space. So I was just I guess this was about 6 years ago that my interest in sex ed and like queer sex ed really took off because of my own struggles of like understanding safer sex for queer people.
Yeah, I think that's something that a lot of people don't think about, especially like cis straight people, is that like I used to be a health teacher in the schools back in the day. And a lot of what we're taught is very heteronormative, right? It's like, teach kids, don't get pregnant.
Yep.
The end.
Yep. So, all right.
Yeah, okay, good luck, bye. I'd give you condoms, but can't do that. But, right, but like, you know, in talking about, you know, queer relationships, there isn't a lot of education unless individual like teachers are teaching that, which is very rare that they are, and being supported in a district to do that. But that was a blind spot of my own, even when I was teaching, like, yeah, just do the job the way I'm supposed to do the job, use the curriculum that I have to have, right? Like, and just go. But also including really an important educational piece that's missing is sex ed that is inclusive of LGBTQ plus folks. But also that availability of products. Like, dental dams are a hard sell.
There are a hard sell, and like I haven't tried these, but there's Laurels. I don't know if you've heard of those that are like wearable, which is definitely
they're cute.
Yeah, that's like definitely them. Like I can't believe it's taken so many decades for people to figure out like, yeah, no one wants to like hold down a sheet of latex while they're having sex. Like, sounds terrible.
Right, like how do I sell that to like horny teenagers who like just selling them on the external condom? Like that's so a hard sell. And then I'm gonna say, hey, it's really important that you protect yourself when you have oral sex. Put this sheet, hold it in place, right? Like
exactly.
Yeah, the Laurels. Someone gave me a pair like as like a demo that they had. They had like an extra pair. Like you should have these. I've got to find where they are. But they're very comfortable, and like I'm not little, like I'm a plus size girly, and they're very stretchy without like digging, so they're good for like you can wear them, you know, go out for dinner, whatever, going out for drinks, and you have it, you're ready to go, boom, done.
Oh, that's
it's
nice.
Done.
Yeah, that is. Yeah,
they're super super cute, and they're a great company. But yeah, right, like it took so long to come up with another option for folks.
Right, and there's one FDA approved like wearable thing that for people with vulvas, like there's like 500 billion condoms, and they're pretty affordable, and like different flavors, sizes. So there's a long way to go, but I mean that's like that's the genesis of like why I started Kiki for the Future, is because it's so not talked about. I mean, you know, in the U.S. in general, we're like have those puritanical hang-ups in general, and then you throw in like queer sex and you throw in pleasure, and it's like, oh no, we can't talk about that. So
no, cannot talk about those things, and unfortunately in a lot of places in our country too, right? Like it's worse now, you know, in a lot of states passing legislation that you can't talk about these things at all, period, the end. So it's fun. But tell me and the listeners, you don't have to tell me, I have the app on my phone, but Kiki for the Future, tell me all about it.
Yeah, so Kiki for the Future is an app that has curated sex ed resources for the LGBTQIA plus community, and started as a website, and we now also have an app on iOS and Android, and we are continuing to add more and more content. We also will be adding more resources. We have a resource guide that has some stuff on there, but it's going to be organized by state and like whether things are IRL or online, and it's basically like just a big database of like health resources, housing, legal, just for people to find queer community where they are at. So it's meant to kind of bridge a couple gaps. One is the sex education gap of like, how does my body work? How does queer sex work? What are the basics? And then really centering pleasure, wellness, like queer well-being and self-love. I think that sex as education is a way in for us to talk about removing just the shame of finding pleasure in your life. And doing things that make you happy and that you feel good. It's like very controversial to say, like, to seek pleasure. Like, oh, there's like a limit to how much pleasure you can have. And it's like, well, if you're not hurting yourself or anyone else, then why would that be the case? But that's the perspective that a lot of people have, and a lot of like well-meaning people even have. It's like, well, we can't have too much fun.
Ugh, how boring. Ugh.
Right?
I would say that was one of the most asked questions that I would get from young people from like when I taught in high schools was like, can somebody masturbate too much? Or like, how much is too much? It's like, if you're not hurting yourself or others and you're not like calling into work all the time so I can like take care of myself, that's a problem,
Exactly.
right? Like that's indicative of like something else going on that we need to talk about. But outside of that, the limit does not exist, friend. Like
the limit does not exist. Like,
yes.
yeah. Outside of like compulsion, like I have a friend who has a really cool like solo show about her OCD, and like if you're not having like a medical diagnosis of like compulsive masturbating, like go forth, like have fun. It's your body. Like it's like there's just so much fear mongering around like quote like sex addiction and porn addiction and things like that, which it's important to be mindful about like how you are how you're touching yourself, how you're experiencing pleasure with other people. But it's I think for the vast majority of people it's overblown.
Yes. Oh, big time. Yeah. There's so many misconceptions that I see on the internet. I'm like, oh no, we're still thinking that. Okay. But that's lack of education, right? Like don't know what you don't know. And so I take it at face value. Like you just don't know. Nobody taught you that. And there's nowhere for you to like find that information. That's why I think like the work that you're doing here with Kiki for the Future is so good, because it's a one-stop shop, right? Like, you can, get education pieces, like the Meet the Sex Toys. Like, come on, that's so cute. I love that. It's so cute. It was so fun, and it like makes it kind of relatable, to folks. And then having like the part on the app too, where with the resources like you were mentioning. And, it's not just all related to, like, where can you go get tested? Where can you go get condoms? But it's like, you have housing stuff and legal stuff and where folks can go, like, queer spaces and things. It's so helpful and so all intertwined into sexual and reproductive health. You know what I mean? And so I love that aspect.
Thank you. Yeah, I that's so important to me, like that. Seeing people as whole people, and no one is just one thing. There's I think it was maybe Audre Lorde who said there's no such thing as a single issue struggle, because we don't lead single issue lives. And it's so true. I mean, how can I focus on my sexual health if I don't feel safe in my home? Like, so all of it is part of your well-being. And so I'm really interested always in what are all the things connecting that can make a person feel more or less safe in their bodies and happy, and what are the things contributing to that.
Yeah, that's so true. When we talk about like even things we talk, I worked in HIV prevention education for a while, and you're talking to a client about, using PrEP or using condoms. It's like PrEP is the last thing they want to talk about when they don't have health insurance. They're in between jobs right now. They're at risk of losing their home, right? Like there's so many other things going on. And that piece you said, like, we're not one issue people because we're so multifaceted and all of these things play into one another, even when we don't realize it.
Exactly. And I mean, managing healthcare is so stressful.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, one thing that I personally, like, didn't know until after I'd gone off the pill was that, like, traditional birth control pills can affect how SSRIs work.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just, you like, every little thing, with your hormones and, any, like, healthcare or medication you're taking can affect other parts of your health. And our healthcare system is so siloed, your doctors aren't talking to each other, and they're also not talking to you about, like, these, asking the right questions. So it's very stressful. So that's like one of the things that I hope to provide, is more and more like of a curated experience. I mean, you were so inundated with information. It's like there's so much great information on the internet, and then there's so much horrible information, and then there's just a lot. It's just a lot to sift through. So hoping to like be part of making that easier for people.
Yeah, absolutely. And what an incredible way to do it, and in such a fun way. And like, a lot of the content that I've seen you put out, it's very like, very relatable, very like, oh, yeah, she gets it. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know how our worlds like kind of collided and came together, but I just remember seeing and being like, yeah, I'm like so at ease just listening to you chat. Like, yes,
Thank you.
you got this. And so I appreciate that because it's so hard to kind of balance that and figure that out in a social media presence. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot that goes into being a content creator on the internet.
It's so hard, and like the algorithm is a mystery, and
yes.
But yeah, I appreciate you saying that, because like I can't remember the creator's name, but there was someone who was like, "Hey, I'm your queer big sister," and I meant something to that effect. I've seen a couple of people say stuff like that, and I was like, "Oh, I want to be able to be that for someone," because I feel like all of us had some version of that were like, "Oh, like I can be, like it's okay to be who I am, and it's okay to talk about these things," and so it makes me, it's very affirming to hear that it's like listening to my videos feels like welcoming. So thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. I've talked about my queerness on this podcast several times, but I came out like later in life as pansexual, and I really got a better understanding of my sexuality from TikTok. Like the algorithm knew exactly what I needed to see and what I needed to be exposed to, and then I'm like, oh yeah, I'm not so straight. And I've actually known that for a long time. It's just I don't know. It was always like a weird thing because I'm like, oh, just no, all people are just attracted to like everybody regardless of what body parts they have, and I'm like, no, actually
Exactly.
that's not the case. No, I'm just like, oh yeah, all girls, like we all appreciate each other and just like show love on each other. Like it just, I'm like, yeah, but that's different. It's different when you're also like, you're also really pretty and I'm so nervous to talk to you and can we make out? No, like.
Yep, exactly. It's like, oh yeah. I mean, it's all those things that in like retrospect you're like, girl, you were gay, but it's like in my mind. I mean, some of that is like, with like, if you're like you said you're pan, I'm bisexual, and some of that compat stuff is like really weird to figure out as someone who like has been attracted to men and cis straight men in particular. It's like, well, I guess I'm straight because the world tells me that if I'm attracted to this type of person, then I'm good old heterosexual. So
Yes.
Yeah, so that you can't be what you can't see thing comes up too of like, and I think that's why I relate so much to like different conceptions of gender and sexuality and fluidity. It's because it's like, yeah, the black and white thinking like really kept me in a box for so many years. And like it just feels really good to get out of that box.
Yes. No, it's like it's so liberating when you finally just come to terms with it. And like I randomly said it out loud to my spouse. Like we were just having a casual conversation. I was like, "Yeah, well, it's because I'm pansexual." And so they were like, "Did you just come out to me for the first time?" I was like, yeah. Yeah, I feel really good about saying it out loud."
That's incredible. I
Now
love
I'm like, I'm
it.
queer as fuck. Like, like I've always been with, cishet men or at least like cishet men appearing folks. And so for me, I'm like, oh, if I tell people I'm queer, they're just gonna think I'm saying that for like attention or things like that. And they're like, no, you're not queer. You're with like a male. I think it held me back a lot from actually like exploring that a little bit more, like saying it out loud and saying the words out loud, but then just kind of casually dropping it. And it's opened a lot of conversations because I'm very open about my queer identity with my family. And my parents are like, okay, when you say that you're queer, what does that mean for you? Like what makes you say that about yourself? So it really has opened up a lot of really amazing conversations with my family to be like, yeah, this is what this means for me. And they're just like, okay, cool.
I love it. I love that. It's really cool to be able to have those conversations with your family.
Yeah, for sure. 100%. And thankfully, like, they're cool people. They try very hard to get it and to
Yeah.
understand like the nuances, and especially within the LGBTQ plus community, and folks identifying themselves in ways that like my parents' generation is not familiar with a lot of these terms, right? Like,
Yes, for
and so it's
sure.
constant education, which is very fun. It's a good time. They're really open to learning more, which is good. Um, and trying to do better, like with pronouns and that kind of stuff too. So
Yeah. Yeah, same. My family has been like really, really good, like good about like learning and staying as open as possible, which I'm so lucky. We're so lucky
hmm
that so many folks don't have that same experience, unfortunately. So, yeah, I just feel really blessed to have that kind of relationship with pretty much everyone in my family. Me and my papa don't talk much about my queerness, but he's 93, so it's okay.
he's like, "Yep, okay."
Exactly. He's like, all right, I'm gonna go watch wrestling.
Mhm.
But no,
That's
no,
funny.
everyone. I mean, yeah, he did meet my previous partner and wasn't like waving the rainbow flag, but was very nice to her, and it was fine.
Yeah, yeah, and sometimes
So,
that's like you take what you can get sometimes, and that is
exactly.
still being an ally.
And exactly, I know he loves me. I know everyone in my family loves me, which is like that's great. Um,
Yeah, that support is huge. Like so many people, I mean, I take it for granted all the time, but it's so many people do that. Like, there's so many people who just like don't have that experience, and that just it sucks. It super sucks.
yeah, it's just really. I mean, this time of year
hmm
is really brutal. I mean, it's brutal for a lot of people, regardless of sexuality, but for our community, it's just so tough to be reminded, like banged over the head, basically, of like what kind of you may have lost in your life or what you've never had, or, and a lot of older queer folks, I think, have a lot of trauma around family because they never thought they would have one of their own. Never thought they would have those, traditional family structures, whether they wanted them or not, but that was not accessible for a lot of people. Um, so it's, yeah, I really feel for everyone in our community in general right now, but this
Yeah.
time of year, holiday season is tough. And especially if you are on speaking terms, but not great terms, and you're going home, and it's a whole thing.
And especially, folks who are going home for the holidays and they don't feel like they can be out to their family, or they honestly just can't, for safety reasons, come out to their family,
Yes.
and having to put on a show, and it's exhausting. It's
It's so
exhausting.
exhausting. Yeah. Yeah, it's draining. When you're at home with your parents, I mean, you're already kind of like suddenly feel like you're 15 again. So to add
Hmm.
that on top of like having to like this layer of hiding is really tough. So I do encourage people, something that I have done in previous years is like make sure I have time to myself, and like I'll go out and go on a walk. I'll go on to like a yoga class or something, and it's just like if I can have some like a little something every day that's like for me, that really that helps me ground and like okay, yes, I'm adult Krista now. I'm not 15. If I want to leave, I'm allowed to do that. Like so it's just kind of like reminding our nervous systems like you're okay. It'll remind you that, oh yeah, I'm an adult, I'm in control of myself and my body, and I'm safe in who I am. So I just think that being home and the holiday season in general can really bring up a lot of stuff for people. So like even if you have a great relationship with your family or a decent relationship with your family, it just like I don't know, it's just like I'm like suddenly in my old patterns. I'm like getting testy about the silliest things. So yeah, that taking that time I think is really helpful for everyone.
No, that is true. I mean, it's just everything's just really heightened this time of year, especially, right?
Yes.
Like, there's so much pressure for things to be this like picture perfect, whatever it may be, and not everyone's experience is that. And even if your experience is that, it's still real stressful. Like,
Exactly.
shit's still stressful. And that's such good advice for everybody. Just a reminder, like, take a break. Give yourself permission to take a break,
Yes.
to step away, to be yourself. It's really, really
Exactly.
helpful.
Exactly. And I think there's sometimes a guilt of like, oh, I'm like, I don't see this, whether it's your parents or grandparents or whatever, I don't see them that often. But it's like your time with them is going to be more valuable if you're not like wound so tightly. It's so much better to have like a little bit less time, but feeling more relaxed and in your body than you're okay, you're with them 24/7, but you're gonna explode.
Yes.
So it's better. It's like good. It's good for you, but it's also better for them. It's better. It's better for everyone. So yeah, go take that walk. As they say, the cousin walk is
Yes.
cousin walk is self-care.
Yes, yes. Oh my gosh, that's too funny. I want to ask you, kind of shifting
Mhm.
directions a little bit. When thinking about topics that you really enjoy learning about, or talking about related to like sexual health and LGBTQ plus health, what's like that one thing if someone was like, Krista, I want you to talk about XYZ topic, your favorite topic, what is it?
Ooh, my favorite topic is probably that letting go of shame piece.
Mm.
And I will go on for days if I'm allowed to about like the invention of virginity and purity culture and how it's like a cage built to for women basically because of course within the purity culture framework there's no other gender but male and female and women are subservient
Right.
um and I like I saw a video the other day of like those man on the street interviews, just like the worst genre of social media. Where this guy was asking a woman like about body count stuff, and she's like, "That's the stupidest shit I've ever heard." And then
Yes.
he yeah, and then he's like keeps he pushing, and like he's like, "Oh, what about like he uses that key analogy of like a key that opens doors versus, and it's like, I'm not a fucking key, I'm not a lock. Like, I'm a person. And also, if you're using that, like, you shouldn't be having sex because you're clearly stuck in middle school. Like, and like, I mean, on a more serious note, like, the logic gets really dark really fast with the thing about like men should have sex with as many people as possible and women shouldn't, because it's like, obviously you don't mean you're gonna have sex with your homies. You mean women are conquests. If women should always be resisting and try to stay quote unquote pure. So I just, yeah, that purity culture and like shame-free thing and like reclaiming the word slut, and like I love people who are like really proudly using like those kind of words, slut, whore. I think it's just really empowering for so many folks. And I mean, I honestly do think that like less sexual shame, more sexual pleasure would solve like 90% of the problems in our world.
No, it's so wild. I have seen that video that you referenced. That girl goes off. She
went off.
Like, and honestly, I was like, yeah, you know what? Go off.
Yes, he deserves it. It's like, what are you talking about?
Yeah. Oh my God. That's such a good topic to talk about too. And just to focus on that shame and that letting go of the shame, because there's so much shame surrounding sex. I mean, I've been talking about sex and sexual health for almost 20 years, and there's still like a level of shame, and there's still a level of like hesitancy sometimes when I'm talking about topics like, how do I talk about this in a way that's not going to offend people? And I'm starting to let some of that go. Like, there's a thing, once you turn 40, you really don't care. And I'm just like, I don't care. I'm an elder millennial on the internet. I'm not cool. I'm always going to be cringe. It's fine. Like, I've embraced who I am. But letting go of some of that, right? Like, letting go of some of that shame that we have just been conditioned to and continue to be conditioned to in so many ways. Yeah, it's tough. It's an ongoing process.
It's so tough.
But it's a good one.
It's hard. The same. Like, I find myself like feeling shame around certain things, and it's like, why am I feeling that? And it's like, it's that feeling shame for feeling shame thing. You're like, okay, I gotta get out of this loop at some point.
Yes, it does become a huge loop. Krista, I could just talk to you all day long. You are so just fun. A delight.
Oh, thank you.
And I will definitely have to have you come back for sure. Oh, fabulous. The last question I want to ask, that I ask all of my guests, is, and you've given so much already, but what's one piece of advice that you would like to pass on to the listeners?
One piece of advice is that you're queer enough, you're bi enough, you're pan enough, you're trans enough, you're androgynous or not androgynous enough, whatever it is that you are worried you're not enough of, you are. And conversely, you're also not too much. It's not too much to have people who love you use your correct pronouns, address you correctly, not call your girlfriend your little friend. So it's that weird thing of feeling like you're too much and not enough in different ways. And I'm just telling you, you're not. You're just right.
Yeah. Oh, that's such really great advice. And I appreciate that. We'll have all of the ways to support you and the amazing work you do. Everybody go download the Kiki for the Future app. Get that on your phone. Check it out. It's so good. And again, thank you so much for taking time. And I'm just so appreciative of all the work that you do.
Thank you so much, Holly. It was just a pleasure to be on today. Sure.